Dr. Sheila Nazarian. Alongside her today, Senior Fellow at the America First Policy Institute, Ken Timmerman. Great to have you both here.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
All right, Ken is also the author of the Iran House Tales of Revolution, Persecution, War, and Intrigue. And every time I talk to Ken, I learn something fascinating about Iran and the regime. But I wanted to focus specifically what's happening now, because we just heard Masoud Pezeshkian, sorry about that. What he's saying publicly, and then apparently what's going on behind the scenes is a little bit different. Ken, there's apparently a lot of friction growing now between the Iranian government and the IRGC. What can you tell us about that?
Well, John, we honestly don't know. We hear these rumors. We hear that he is putting pressure on the IRGC to allow him to negotiate, to get some kind of deal. He does not want to see the infrastructure in Iran destroyed. I completely understand that. The IRGC doesn't care so much. They are an insurgent organization. They thrive on insurgency. They're willing to go to ground. You can see how they fight their wars. And, I think what the president is trying to do is what others before him have done, which is to change the behavior of the regime. He is, of course, using a great deal more force than has been used. Before, we've tried to bribe them. Obama tried to bribe them. Biden tried to bribe them. Trump is obviously not trying to bribe them. But I still believe it is foolhardy to think you can change the behavior of the regime. We have to create the circumstances where the people can change the regime.
Right. It was Selena Zito, the great writer, who told us to take Trump seriously, not literally, so he's not going to actually be targeting the entire civilization this evening. But Sheila, talk to us about the video we're looking at on the screen now, which is mostly women and children encircling a power plant. Everyone on the left freaking out about President Trump's truth, but you see the Iranian regime setting these folks up to be human shields.
Yeah, it's funny. I feel like Trump's truth posts, one of my friends described it as when you drop fish food into a fish bowl and then you have the fish scurrying up to the fish food and being distracted. I think that that's exactly what Trump uses his truth posts for. There's a lot of ways to take out the infrastructure. As you know, there's been hacks in the past. You can get into the electronics and IT system of these power plants. There's a lot of ways to take them down without exploding them. And so that might be just what we're going to see at 8 p.m. tonight. And, these videos that we're seeing out of Iran with the women and children surrounding it, I mean, where do you think Hamas learned this from? They learned it from the Iranian people. The Iranian people, Hamas, these terrorist organizations, these caliphate warriors, they don't care about human life. They actually think dying and martyrdom is the greatest thing they can do. So putting their most vulnerable, the women, the children, the young people around these power plants is just showing the world all over again exactly what methods these Islamists are willing to go to get the worldwide caliphate that they think that they were put on earth to achieve.
Now, when we look at the situation on the ground, I know we don't have a lot of information, but Sheila, I don't know if you're in contact with anyone from your family who's still over there. What are they telling you?
I don't have any family, thank God, over there. I was actually the last of my family to escape in 1986, but we are getting little messages. It's very expensive to get short Wi-Fi in Iran, but we are getting messages that say, do not use our lives, and it's mostly to the liberals here in America, to be honest, do not use our lives to stop the bombs from coming. They're like, we're ready for the bombs. We're more afraid when the bombs stop coming. On the other hand, I hear from a lot of diaspora Iranians that live in the Middle East, in Saudi Arabia and Dubai, they're going to destroy Iran, they're going to blow up our civilization, which honestly I don't think Trump wants to do. We've never gone after civilian targets. This is all about regime change. And this regime, Ken is absolutely right. There is no talking to this regime. There is no negotiations with this regime. It's almost like an oxymoron to use the word good faith and IRGC in the same sentence. They use negotiations. They use these delay tactics to continue with their nuclear plan and nuclear ambitions, and they're going to do exactly what it is they want to do, using the way that the U.S. thinks diplomacy should work to their own advantage. They will not stop. They are a cancer that will continue to grow unless they are completely taken out.
What happens tonight, Ken, if President Trump decides for whatever reason that to not start dropping bombs on power plants in bridges?
Well, John, I actually don't expect him to drop bombs on power plants and bridges. I don't expect the operation to last 4 hours, which is what he said it would. I think I agree with Sheila. I'd use a slightly different image. I think this is like a squirrel, with a dog. Oh, that's a squirrel. The dog's going to go chase the squirrel. But I think he certainly does have targets in mind, and there are things that he can do that can cripple the IRGC, that can cripple the Basijis. These are the forces of internal repression, and that is what he has to go after. People talk about dual-use infrastructure, civilian infrastructure. The New York Times is trying to pretend that these are war crimes. Everything in Iran, in their industrial fabric, is dual use. It's intended for military and civilian production. I did a study back in 1992 for the Simon Wiesenthal Center about this. I looked at a place called the Mobarakeh Steel Plant. Well, guess what? That was just blown up a couple days ago by the Israelis. Why? Because we knew already back in 1992 when it was being completed that they were using it to make missile casings. They were making specialty steel for missile casings. At the same time, they might be making steel for their automobiles. So these are dual-use facilities. They are legitimate military targets.
Yeah, and we've seen the precision strikes thus far. We'll see what happens tonight, 8 o'clock. We'll all be watching. Dr. Sheila Nazarian, Ken Timmerman, great to see you both. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Florida Governor